Hello, everybody out there. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk But No Politics Presents this week in History Review, where I go over last week's postings that I did of pop culture history, and I give you a little feedback on how I felt about them, and because I kind of make them. How? Why did I pick them as well? This week will be for the week of October 26th through November 1st. Yes, we are in November. We are almost out of 2020 and almost to there. So, without further ado, let's turn on that television. Okay, so here's our TV. Here's our TV. What do we got? What do we got going on? What do we got for the 26th, October 26th? Oh, October 26th, 1984. The Terminator is released in the US. Who doesn't love the Terminator? Now, I'm probably one of the few people that saw Terminator 2 before I saw Terminator. And I got to say, I like them both. Do not get at me, but they are both great movies. I saw Terminator 2 only because my dad had a fire at his house. He had to stay in a hotel room while they were fixing it. So, hotels rent some movies off the TV, like the first streaming before Netflix. So he got Terminator 2, and I watched it, and it was so mind blowing. Everything, just the action, everything about it was amazing. And then later on, he was like, "Oh, you like that? Well, you're gonna like the Terminator." And I was like, "Wow, okay, I'm gonna watch the Terminator." Yeah. So go down to the local video store. I don't even think it was Blockbuster. I think it was Video Factory at the time. Was our local video store, and we rented the Terminator, and I got to see all of its glory, all of its glory. The Terminator, the story, and everything else, and it let in. And I gotta say that I have not really watched any Terminators since I got done watching the Terminator and then Terminator 2 once again. I think it ended well with Terminator 2, and I don't think we needed more, but to each their own on that one. If you got a property, keep it going. I mean, what Disney did to Star Wars. So let's move on. Boom. Today in history, October 27th, 1996, Pop Up Video premieres on VH1. Pop Up Video was awesome. Uh, Even though it was on VH1, VH1 was not the coolest thing to be watching when doing when trying to get music videos or anything like that. They did have Behind the Music, which was good. But Pop Up Video was awesome because they give you little tidbits about the video, like as you can see from the picture. That too was inked on set. So she got that tattoo right on set, and they give you a little feedback behind each thing and how many takes it took. As well as that, I know MTV had like making the video and stuff like that later on, but Pop Up Video is you got to watch the video and just watch different things just pop up and see what happened within that music video. It was really, really awesome. And so pop-up video was something that definitely stood out to me when I was doing the research to see what was going on in October. And I saw this and I was like, oh, this has got to go on there. Who doesn't love pop-up video? If you were a kid around that time, 1996, I don't know how adults felt about it, but pop-up video was awesome. Because like I said, you get a little tidbits, you get to watch a cool music video. And even if it was a crappy music video, I remember still watching it because it was fun. It was fun to just watch it. You can get all the little tidbitty history things that are going on in there as well. I love pop up video. Let's turn our channel here and see what we got for the 28th. Today in history, October 28th, 1756. We're going way back, way, way back. A little guy known as Gordon Shumway, or you may know him better as Alf, is born on the planet Melmac. Now, when I saw this, I was thinking to myself, This has to be this has to be known. I don't know how many people know it, how many people didn't know it, but Mr. Gordon Shumway was a big part of my childhood. Whether it was watching the TV show, the way that he interacted, he was like another version of Rodney Dangerfield to me with his jokes and everything else. You might even learn a little lesson or two. But even the cartoon where it showed him on Melmac with his family interacting with everybody, he is absolutely great. And this is something that I was so awesome to see because I didn't know that they actually figured out what his birthday was on the show, like what his actual Earth birthday was. And it's actually he's pretty old, and it's October 28th, 1756. I've actually gone back and watched some of these episodes on the Roku channel. So if you have a Roku, not a sponsor, if you have a Roku and you should rewatch all the Adventures of Alf because that's what you would want to do. I mean, because I know I do. My kids love it. My kids think he's hilarious, probably because it's a little bit more edgier now than I think what it was back then in a way. But it was just so much fun. The only thing I didn't like was the when they would show the full body, he looked very awkward. Now it did not stand up. As a kid, it looked cool, but it those special effects did not stand up, and I'm glad they got rid of that like within 2 seasons. So today in history, October 28th, 1756, my man Gordon Shumway was born on the planet Melmac. Let's see what's going on for the 29th. Ooh, today in history, October 29th, 1993, the first Got Milk commercial was released and it was directed by Michael Bay. That is something that I did not know. That is something I did not know. I had to look that up and it is a fact. I do believe the first Got Milk commercial is the one where the guy is trying to call into the radio show, but he's got peanut butter stuck on his mouth and it is the famous Aaron Burr. Aaron Burr. If anybody can remember all the way back then, I remember because I thought it was a great, funny commercial. And then Got Milk became a staple. It just not even in a commercial, but print ads as well. You had Stone Cold doing it. You had everybody doing this. There was also those ones where I don't know if it was a Got Milk ad or it was, to drink your milk, where it like showed the person growing up in the different stages because they were drinking milk and then all of a sudden they just became like super good looking because they drank milk and that's what everybody should do. So that I find absolutely classic. Just the Got Milk ad. We need I think commercials are not as big anymore because I think a lot of people don't watch TV, and the commercial is more, I think, known as a nuisance than actual art. So we need to kind of reevaluate that and bring back the actual art. Let's move on here. We're almost done with this month. Crazy that we're almost done here, but let's keep on going. Today in history, October 30th, 1987, NEC releases the first 16-bit video game console called the PC Engine in Japan, but you may know it as the TurboGrafx 16. Now, the TurboGrafx 16, once again, first 16-bit system. I can't tell you pretty much the difference, but I remember as a kid, Sega does what Nintendo don't because it has 16 bits instead of 8 bits, and it became one big giant bit war. I remember the Atari Jaguar coming out, and that had 64 bits, and this has this bits, and this has this bits. I did not own a TurboGrafx 16. I don't think I really knew anybody that owned a TurboGrafx 16, but this is when kind of bit wars were going to heat up because I have more bits than you do. Not do you have better games, I just have more bits, so I must be better. And I think that was a big thing because the Atari Jaguar, the way it did it out with the math from watching the Angry Video Game Nerd, is that came out to 64 bits, but looking at the games, they were not very good. They did not look like they didn't look awesomely fun. And I'm glad that I only had the Sega and Super Nintendo when it came to 16-bit systems, but I've seen an Atari Jaguar as a kid. I remember in Hills looking at it and thinking, "Wow, that's got to be cool." I do believe so for the TurboGrafx 16 as well, and just being able to look at those different things. But I'm glad I had what I had because there was so many more memorable games on there, and that's what makes it great. But this needed to be listed because it ushered in that era of I have more bits than you. Let's go to we're almost done. We're almost done. Oh my goodness. So let's go on to October. Today in history, October 31st, 1992. The X-Men animated series premieres on Fox Kids. First of all, Fox Kids was amazing. It stole the thunder from the other networks, I believe, from your ABCs. NBC didn't really have any cartoons, if I remember correctly, growing up. But your ABC, your CBS, Fox took that over because they had Fox Kids. Fox Kids was super awesome. And what made Fox Kids super awesome is because they had the X Men. The X Men was on there. You had Eek the Cat. You had Spider Man. You had all those. But the X Men stood out because I was a comic book kid. I enjoyed comic books. My father enjoyed comic books. My brother enjoyed comic books. And you always wondered when were we going to see the X Men? When were we going to see the X Men? You know, I grew up with the Justice League and the Super Friends and all that stuff. But when were we going to see the X Men on either the big or the small screen? And I remember reading magazines and be like, who would do this voice or who would play this character when doing it? And then this came out and it ushered in a new world of being able to see these characters. This isn't the first X Men cartoon. There was another one called Pride of the X Men, which I believe was released in 87 or 88, and it was one pilot episode. And we had it on VHS. I don't know how the comic book, the local owner of the comic book store got it, but he got it, and we did watch that. I remember watching that constantly, but that one cannot hold a candle to this. You had such great stories, plots, doing the recaps. Nothing was just a half an hour and done, which was the crazy new concept. Because everything else, cartoon wise, was problem happen, bad guy starts to win, good guy comes in, problem solved. X Men, it could take 3 episodes, 4 episodes, and it was awesome because it made you want to watch it more. And it didn't just play it safe with certain characters. You got to see villains like Apocalypse and Mister Sinister, and all of them come into play up against this team of X-Men. And then it also brought into a little bit of personal problems between Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Cyclops, or Rogue not being able to touch anybody. So there was more depth than a normal cartoon as well. So that what really stands out to me in this cartoon. And one of the lines that would always still stuck in my head today when it comes to the X-Men cartoon is I think it's in one of the first 2, 3 episodes. Um, there's the mutant rally and the I don't even know the rioters or whatever against the mutants are attacking one of the mutants. I believe it's Jubilee, and they ask, "Why do you hate us?" And the guy's question it hit me as like a 10, 11-year old boy. It hit me, and all his answer to that question was because you were born. And to this day, that still is in me that you could just hate somebody because they were born, and it just I don't know. Try not to. I'm not trying to get into politics. I'm just saying that's a line that stuck with me. But X Men was huge at this point. You wanted the toys were amazing. Absolutely amazing. Toy Biz did a great job with the X-Men toys. Pizza Hut got involved. We got the VHSs from Pizza Hut as well because you wanted to watch X-Men. And even if it wasn't new episodes, watch the reruns because X-Men was amazing. And I love the X-Men to this day. And it's a lot of fun. Check it out on Disney Plus. I just got done rewatching them all when Disney Plus came out. The last season is not the best, but hey, they, what is. Let's move on because we're moving into November 1st. Here we are. Today in history, November 1st, 1944. Bobby the Brain Heenan is born. This is this is great because this is one of those things that splits a child from an adult when it comes to this. From the child side of me, I hated Bobby the Brain Heenan. I hated the Heenan family. All they wanted to do was destroy one of my heroes, Hulk Hogan, and they were not going to do it. Giant joined the Heenan family until he retired. He was just a maniacal man. I hated Bobby Heenan. He was just not cool at all, even when he did commentary with Gorilla Monsoon. Oh, I hated Bobby the Brain Heenan. I'm talking as a child here. I hated Bobby the Brain Heenan for everything he did. Another one of my wrestling heroes, the Ultimate Warrior, and he was the manager for ravishing Rick Rude. He was responsible for bringing in Ric Flair. How dare you bring in Ric Flair to the WWF? That's horrible. Ric Flair. Oh, I hated Ric Flair as a guy. I'm talking as a child here. Hated Ric Flair as a child. And he was also with Mr. Perfect. Oh, so evil in every way. Haku, the King Kong Bundy was there. All they wanted to do was take down Hulkamania, but you can't take down Hulkamania. But as an adult, Bobby the Brain Heenan, knowing what I know about wrestling now, is absolutely brilliant because he got me as a child to go through and feel those feelings of just pure hate towards them. And then when you learn about the wrestling business and see what he did, you think that man is really the brain because he is an absolute genius to pull that much, as they would call in wrestling, heat onto him and be the manager for so many villains, or as they're called in wrestling, heels, to do it. He was just an absolute genius, and he is one of those people that I watched, like I said, as a kid, that I absolutely hated, despised. Oh, how dare you, Bobby the Brain. But now, as an adult, I realize the pure genius and, dare I say, artistry of what he did, because he got me to absolutely hate him, hate the character of Bobby the Brain Heenan, everything else. Even when I got back into wrestling during the whole Attitude Era NWO stage. You know, he would do commentary for WCW, and it was really, really amazing to hear him because he never missed. He never lost that flair, that Bobby the Brain character. And you know, when he when he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, you know, he wished Gorilla Monsoon was there to see it, and that was a great team of him and Gorilla Monsoon that really paired well together. So I gotta say, uh, R.I.P. Bobby, or I'll call you Mr. Heenan. R.I.P. Mr. Heenan, who died in, I believe, 2017. And you really are part of my wrestling childhood memories because of what you did. And I gotta say, that's pretty awesome. Well, if he was here today, I would thank him. And that's why I chose Mr. Bobby the Brain Heenan. That's this one for November 1st, 1944. man known as the Brain, Bobby Heenan. Here we go. And remember, you can catch this. You can review history every Friday on Helium Radio at 7 p.m. You can also watch the video. You can watch the video on my YouTube channel. Let's talk but no politics, okay? And make sure you go over to the Facebook page, give it a like because I'm trying to put up as much content as possible. And you can see these ads you're happening and then think to yourself, why is Andrew doing it? And then go back and you can listen to me talk about why did I pick those? Why are they up there? You can also follow me on Instagram as well. And with anything that is getting done with Let's Talk All Politics, editing help, anything of that nature is all brought to you by the Podcast Precinct because it is great consistency, creativity, and culture. And that is what they bring to it. And if you want to listen to my full hour length episodes where I talk to various topics from children's game shows to anything else, and this week will be would be geez, I gotta think. I do so many great episodes that it's hard to think. Is it's a UK stories. I talked to a man, Daryl Smith, and he was a military brat and he moved back and forth from country or from here to Scotland. We talk about those childhood memories of living in the States, childhood memories of living there, and we just go back and we talk about his childhood. He is older than me, so there was a couple of things we didn't know, but there's a lot of cool things that he showed me. So if you want to listen to those episodes, check them out on the BICP Radio Network. That's bicp-radio.com, or you can check them out on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And I would like to thank those that are all watching, those that are all listening, and everything else. To thank you for your support. I can't do this without you. And always, good morning, good afternoon, and